Hello and welcome to this YouTube page, to this YouTube video. My name is Grace with creationalcodes.com. It's such an honor to have you here with me today. We are going to be talking about the remembrance of our sacred gifts, the remembrance of our sacred embodiment. So buckle in, settle into the expansion that we're going to be moving through together. And please like this video, please subscribe if you feel called to, and let's dive in. So I know I haven't posted on this YouTube page for a minute. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for staying with me. If you're still here, if you're still observing and watching this channel, it means so much to me. And I want to give you guys all that I can, support you in your healing journeys, and really give you the depth of what I know some of you are seeking, give you the shift codings, the frequency that is going to help you expand your life and your reality and come into greater and higher and new embodiments that will serve you in the trajectory of your mission and your life. So remembering our gifts is really just remembering this sacred embodiment that we come to this planet with. We enter into this earth density, this field, this consciousness, and this body with these gift templatings. And these gift templatings come from our star families, they come from our galactic origins, they come from our soul. And these gift templatings can range so drastically from person to person to person to what God wants for you to experience, what life wants you to experience, what your mission is and what your lessons are and all of that goodness. But I really believe that we are meant to hold a great capacity. We are meant to be able to do great things in this lifetime and have great ventures and experience magic. And the templatings of these bodies are really meant to be able to create magic and have like superpowers. Like I know so many people felt so resonant to like Harry Potter and to, you know, these wizard characters because of their magic, their potency, their deep connection to life and these abilities that so many of us remember having, or so many of us remember the experience of that creational will, that creational whim of being able to produce things out of thin air, or being able to see things and predict the future and know things just because you exist. So those are some of the gift templatings that we can dive into straight away, is that, you know, claircognizance. This is the gift and the templating of knowing straight from a connectivity to source consciousness. This would be something where in which you enter meditation, you ask a question, and it's not so much that you hear words or an answer, but you know an answer. It's kind of intuitive, but it's very firm. That's actually one of my gift templatings, is claircognizance. And another gift templating that people could have would be connectivity to animals, you know, a deep understanding of what animals are doing, why they're doing it, almost like a telepathic communication to their actions and behaviors, and the mysticism and the magic within their behaviors. Because all of life exists around us to be teachers, to teach us, to hold us, to support us in our trajectories and our journeys. So when people connect to animals and they're able to, you know, hear from the deer, this is the action I'm taking to support myself in this transition, or to support myself in this experience. You know, in indigenous cultures, it was very prominent that there would be spirit animals or spiritual animal totems. And these animal guides would really support the community during times of need. They would really give them strength and vitality and courage. And that's because Creator moves through all things. Creator moves through all things specifically with different kinds of codings and different kinds of messagings. And that's why it's so important that we all connect to one another, because some of us might have codings that another person needs, or some of us might have information that is very valuable to somebody else's story and their trajectory and their healing. So when we connect and we exchange these codings, and when we connect to animals and we hear from them what they're moving through, and from that we can expand our own healing and our own journey and receive messaging from them, from source. It's like we're all conduits of source. We're all here to receive information and gift it to one another. So it's such a beautiful incredible blessing, you know, to work with these gift templatings. Another one could be, I'll just kind of list off a few. So it could be clairvoyance, clairaudience, you know, connecting to animals, like I said. It could be a specific connectivity to people who have passed over. It might be a specific connectivity to entities and energies and beings from beyond this density veil, this multidimensionality connectivity. It might be clairvoyance, where you can see things very clearly. It might be, you know, a deep connection to nature. You know, it's pretty much endless. You know, there's this amazing book called The Life of a Yogi Paramahansa. I forget his name. I'm going to butcher it. But he told the story of these beautiful yogis in India who had these amazing superpowers. Like some of them worked with plants, and they could kind of just pull a plant right up in front of them. Like it would just come out of their hands, come into manifestation out of thin air. And this other man, yogi, was super strong, and he could, you know, battle and fight with lions, and he would almost always win. He was so strong and so ferocious and passionate, but also he was a human, and he was like a very loving, peaceful person, but he had this strength to battle lions. And that book really opened me up to the capabilities of people. You know, of course, there's the levitating one where people can levitate or teleport. And there's a lot of stories, you know, about people who live on islands in the middle of the ocean, and they just teleported there, and they've just been hanging out, and they can teleport wherever they want to. I've heard that story more than once. And these stories, they really allow us to experience the potentiality of our destiny, or the potentiality of our DNA activating and becoming its greatest version of self. Like, what are we truly capable of? We don't fully know yet. We cannot comprehend what we are fully capable of. You know, another example of a gift templating would be, you know, connecting to the cosmos and the Akash of the creation, the Akash of creation. So it's the creation of everything. You know, how does everything work? Like, what is the truth of that? And for the human brain and mind to digest that information would be quite vast and complicated. And it would, you know, it would really kind of, we wouldn't be able to process it at this point in time, because it would rip our reality like apart in this 3D density field. So that's why, you know, sometimes we don't have full access to these gift templatings, is because the reality needs to be in the same frequency that we are in. So if we live in a world where, you know, some people just cannot see things, some people just refuse to see things, then it's hard for us to take action and evaporate in thin air and teleport wherever we want to, because their belief system is polarizing to our belief system. So how can we exist in the same reality? How can we exist in the same frequency band, if you know what I mean? So things like that also have to do with, you know, our capability of connecting to our gift templatings. And with the ascension of the collective, with the uprising of the collective, we are going to be able to upgrade everybody's DNA, and we're all going to be able to start seeing these mystical, magical things, because people's minds are going to be continuously opened and continuously expanded. And it's going to be, you know, a ripple effect of us all having our eyes opened and our vision expanded to the horizons of what's truly capable for these human bodies in this time and space. So we can get our sacred gifts from different lifetimes. We can get our sacred gifts from our higher dimensional aspects of self, from our lineage line, and also from different lifetimes in this planet. So there might have been a lifetime on Earth where you had these gift templatings activated and advanced through your DNA. And when you connect to your Akash and you connect to your connectivity to that lifetime, those codings, that remembrance will appear and open up for you to receive that information, to remember how you did that and why you did that. And a lot of the times too, that's why, you know, we don't have access to these gift templatings, to these amazing abilities, is because we don't have the manual in front of us, like the information to be able to take action upon those remembrances and those gift templatings and those superpowers, is because, you know, it needs to be activated through our DNA, and our body needs to remember how to operate in order for that manifestation to happen, in order for that creational will to occur. And it is kind of like the sciencey aspect of spirituality, where, you know, things have to be aligned and in order and in coherence with itself, within creation, within the laws of this existence, for them to occur, for them to be able to happen. We can't just like, I want it now, and still have all of this density in our wombs and our hearts, where we can't actually expand our field and our bodies and our DNA to be able to fully receive that information. So from like lineage lines, you know, you could have the gift of an oracle, or the gift of a shaman, or the gift of, you know, being able to speak with people from the past. And a lot of the times, the reason that this is passed on from generation to generation is because when one person activates this within themselves, you can do it for your whole lineage line, and you can do it and carry it on through the lineage line. A lot of the times this is done through stories, or through journals, or through communication of what the past shaman or oracle or witch or healer did, and that will be passed on to the individual in the present moment, and that person will be able to, you know, expand their field and their light body and their potentiality and their mind to be open to the idea of that occurring in this lifetime for them. And then this can happen in your star lineages. So I know a lot of people that will connect to their Arcturian or Sirian or Andromedan star families, and from those lifetimes they would have been architects, or architects, or they would have been mathematicians, or they would have been working with the science of creation, or they would have been working with the human biology, or they would have been working with, you know, all of the careers that we see on this planet. It would have been like the same thing up there, but it would have been in a more masterful state, in a more kind of magical, mystical way, where we were manipulating, not really manipulating, but creation is more malleable when you're in the higher dimensional realms, when you're working with it to support its evolution and its advancements. Whereas here, you know, it's quite concrete, or quite stagnant, and it's hard to really move pieces to pieces. It's quite slow, right? So when we connect to our star families, we can also remember those gift templatings that we came here with the knowledge of in our Akash to remember and work through and heal, which is also very liberating, because it gives us deeper insight into why we feel so passionate about such a thing, but it's not our life path in this density and reality, but we love it. And we, you know, like there's so many pieces that tie into our sacred gifts and our sacred embodiments and our sacred healing tools that, you know, we forget about, or we don't fully remember because it was in a higher dimensional plane in a past life. And there's this kind of this veil protecting us from hiding us from that truth and that knowledge and that consciousness connectivity that really unravels us, really allows us to remember our true depth of self. So these gift templatings will get turned off in society in a numerous amount of ways, of course, right? So we have nowadays a ton of EMF exposure, which is extremely damaging to the DNA. It's extremely damaging to our body in general. Like, it creates inflammation. It puts us in a fight or flight position. Music and TV shows are really dulling down our imagination, creating a lot of reversals in our field, creating a lot of pain to kind of just be like constantly cycled and looped through. It's creating like miasmic portals that are siphoning our energy, our life force, our divinity out from us. And I know that this is quite intense and like kind of, you know, painful to hear, but it's the truth, is that society is not right now wanting us to be in our greatest, most fulfilled version of self. If we look at the healthcare system, if we look at the food that we're eating that's being promoted for us to eat, the travel bans that some people are being put under for not having specific medical requirements. You know, there's just so much trying to repress us and box us in and keep us in a mold that is safe and is genuinely really traumatizing to the soul and to the body. And society does not want us to remember our true divine gifts, because that would really collapse out this system that is in play, and all the people who are rich and are thriving off of this system. Like, through history, we can see where there's always been a group or a few people that have really enjoyed being powerful. And then you have the peasants or the rest of the population, and those people are struggling, or they don't have what they need, or they're dying, or they're being, you know, they're cycling through this traumatization over and over again through lifetime and lifetime and lifetime. And then in the olden days, when people did speak up about it, they would have been like taken out. So nowadays, you know, it's still occurring. Like, there's on Instagram, there's bans if you say a specific thing. On YouTube, I'm sure there's that situation too, where, you know, we're kind of just being censored, and it is what it is. But, you know, the deeper part of that is why. When the reason why is because we have so much creational abundance in these bodies and in our remembrance and our Akash and our soul. Our soul remembers it. And when we have spaciousness to remember that, there's no doubt that we would reject the society that we live in. There's no doubt that there would be a revolt and a refusal of the society that we live in, the systems at play in this society for the children, for the elderly. Like, there's just so much corruption that, you know, we kind of abide by because we're in a numbed out state. But when we start to activate our DNA and activate our remembrance and start to communicate with the soul family and the galactic beings and our past lives and nature and all of these beautiful mystical creational pieces that tie us into who we truly are, of course we would reject this reality. We wouldn't want to be a part of it. We would refuse it. So that's a big fallout for the people in power. And that's what we're going to be coming into in the next few years. And in the next few months, I just had a podcast interview with one of my friends, Sonia Rose, and she talked to me about how Pluto is moving into something and it's going to cause a lot of political upheaval. And we've kind of been waiting for this, and it's going to come, and it's going to be a little bit intensive, but it's nothing to be afraid of, because our souls have been through this in different lifetimes. Our souls have been through this in different planets. And this is really just the spaciousness, the time for us to really dive into who am I? What is my mission templating? Who do I want to be? And how can I give myself space and grace to flourish into that, to become that person, and to dive into the depths of that being who I am, fully embodying that. I'm ready to be this now. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is stagnancy in our gifts. So a lot of people will have a knowing that they have a gift templating, but it won't come online fully, or there feels like there's interference. And this is definitely true for most people, is that there will be blockages. There will be kind of even curses through the lineage line that will block these experiences from fully coming online. And when I say curses, it's like a genuine curse. Like, sometimes people will curse the lineage line based on what you've been through in the past. If you ever had like a witch in your lineage line, there might have been some trouble and chaos there. There's a lot of like mysticism and interesting things going on within our history. When you look at Lemuria, Atlantis, the Egyptian timelines are really heavy, really dense. And when you look into those timelines, you see a lot of curses, a lot of pain, a lot of breakdown of our spiritual body. And that doesn't mean that we are locked in the tomb of mummification of like these spiritual templatings. It just means that they need to be healed and loved and held and restored back into their divine architecture, back into their divine becomings. And that is quite a simple thing to do once we take action on it. It is like a snowball effect of it happening slowly and then all at once we decide that's something that we want to do, that we really want to take on, is the healing of our lineage line, the healing of our DNA, the healing of our ancestors, and the healing of this body, so that we can become our greatest version of self. So yes, there can be stagnancies, there can be blockages in the field. And these can also be through seals in the light body architecture. So a lot of people will talk about seals that will be placed from entities in the higher dimensional fields, or, seals can occur through sound, EMF, radiation. Like, the light body is quite absorbent to the energy around it. So we can experience kind of closings, like a faucet being on and then the faucet being turned off intentionally to stop an energy from flowing. And that will, of course, have been done through movies, through music, through TV shows, through indoctrination from society, from the pop culture, from Hollywood, from all of these places that are trying to create us all as like one kind of simple-minded person. And yeah, we need to rise above that and remember our true nature. And even through lineage lines, I believe that it's potential to, of course, have blockages in our templatings and our spiritual gifts. I see that a lot with clients, actually, is that the lineage line plays a huge role in how active we are in our embodiments and how active we are with our templatings and our gift templatings, because the lineage line and our bloodline plays a huge role in why we're doing things the way that we are, whether it's karmic, whether it's a lot of us are starting to fulfill these karmic loopings. We're kind of sealing them off, we're finishing them, and that means that we are dealing with all of the repercussions of what has gone on in the history and why it has happened and all that has led up to now, and that we are clearing it and finishing it and signing off as this is done. That means that we have to hold space for all of that emotional healing, all of that miasma, all of those open portals, all of those curses, all of those contracts, all of the experiences that those people have had, and why they chose to, sign contracts and have those experiences and say yes to black magic curses. It's never, of course, like a conscious thing that we can say our ancestors did, like, yeah, definitely, let's just like destroy the whole family lineage line. But it's happened. It happened many, many, many times for most people that I connect with. There is something going on with the lineage line. So that's a huge reason why our gift templatings will kind of be blocked off and turned off, and why we won't be able to deeply connect with them. But I do want to say that it is a simple thing to clear. Like, it's a lot of feeling, it's a lot of healing, but it's not a huge, like, hard, impossible thing to do. It's something that we are here to do. It's something that we are here to hold space for. And it's very possible, and it's very malleable, and it's very healing. It's exactly, what most people need at this point in time, is to look at their lineage lines. And you can do that by looking at old photos, by connecting to, the elderly people in your family who know the stories of the past, connecting to your ancestry through ancestry.com. If you have information on there, looking at the name, the origins of your family, where they were from, what was going on at that time. And we can start to piece together all these memories of the traumatization that we've been through via our blood has been through, and why it's causing these stagnations and these blocks for us. And that way we can start to really restore and heal and recreate the vision of the future for not just ourselves, but our lineage lines and the people of the planet. We're working on a collective level at this point. We're really just working together to get to this point where we can start to manifest our divine sacred templatings, our divine gifts, the remembrance of our superpowers. And I feel like it's definitely possible, that some people will be able to teleport and levitate before others can. But really, the magic is going to happen when the masses start to do it at once. And that's what a lot of the angels and the starseeds are here to do, is really hold space for that up-leveling as a collective, to heal and rise up and get to that point in time where we can move together and heal together, so that the whole planet is shifting and that we're just rising into higher states of being and higher states of doing together. So I hope that that supported you in the unraveling and remembrance of your sacred gift templatings, your sacred becomings. And know that it's possible, and know that the healing is possible. I love holding space for people when they are coming into the beginning or a painful point in their healing journey. I do one-on-one healing sessions, energetic sessions. I work through lineage lines, ancestral energies, past lives, activations, clearings. All of this stuff just like is my jam. So if you need support, know that I can help you out with that. And again, I would love for you to like this video. It means so much to me. Please leave a comment if you found this interesting or inspiring or helpful in any way, shape, or form. And I will see you next time. Bye.